Hi, welcome to your fourth video on doing your stop motion animation, but this is your third one on using Premiere. So just to get started, you open Premiere here, and I want to open the one I've been working on. And we didn't get to do it all in one day, so I'm opening it again. So up to File, up to Open Recent, and then you should see on the very top the last one or the one that you were working on. So I know that mine was called Mirror Mirror, so here it is. So I'm going to click on it. Give it a few seconds. And here we have, it's opened here. Now, I don't know, do you remember things like that whatever is covered in the blue box is what's active? So what I want to work on today is I want to nest my photos together, which is where I grab maybe 10 or 12 photos at once, even more maybe, and I join them together as one sequence. And that means then I can do a transition from one sequence to another sequence, and it makes everything look an awful lot smoother. You also have, rather than trying to control each photograph for a duration, like for a couple of seconds or a tenth of a second or whatever, you have like a string of photos that you're controlling. Remember with the last video, we put all our photos at a tenth of a second, apart from a couple of them that we made maybe 1 or 2 seconds long when we've decided they were kind of the important ones to have it a longer duration. Now, all that can change here once you start to nest them. So to set this up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to click into this box because this is the most important box, the one I'm going to be working on. I'm going to wait till I have my 2 black arrows, hovering over the blue line till I have my 2 black arrows, and then I'm dragging it out as far as I can go because I need a lot of space here. And same if I wanted it to go up a little bit, I'm dragging it up. Okay. Now, I want this blue line here. This is what is playing at the moment. So you can see it's at the end of my animation, which was 1 minute 36 seconds long. So to get back to the start, I could either just drag the top of this blue line, and you can see the image is starting to come up there on the playback part. Or if I want to go back all the way to the start, I just hit this, just 2 beside, I suppose, your play button. Hit that, and I'm back to the very, very start. So this here is what I'll be working on. I need to make all these photos, I suppose, as big as possible so I can see a little clearer what I'm doing when I'm doing my nesting. So to do that, I don't know, do you remember I think it was the first or second video, we had something that had these 2 circles at the end of it. So these 2 circles are the size of, for here, the size of your photos. So I'm going to drag this one out this way, and you can see those little boxes of photos. Sorry, just explain, every single one of these is our photos. We had that in the last video. So I'm dragging it this way to make those big or as small as I want. If I wanted to see the end of the whole animation, I would keep dragging this circle out, and you can see that it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Now that would be very hard to do anything with unless you wanted to select the whole lot at one time. If I needed to make them bigger, I just drag this circle back to the left. You can see they're getting bigger. If I needed to move along, I go between the 2 circles and I keep my finger pressed down and I'm dragging along that way. So that's kind of how you move it. For the purposes of this exercise, I really want to make these images bigger, or these photos bigger. So I'm going along this way. You can see they're getting bigger. Now, another way that I want to make them bigger is I need to see them. I need to see a little bit of what the image is in each one. So I put my finger on Command and I'm clicking on my plus key, the top of my keyboard, and you can see they're getting bigger. I will keep going till I kind of have a good idea of what the imagery is in it. So there we are. I can see a little bit more clearly about what each photo shows. If I need to know the duration of each photo, you can see quite clearly that this one here, the first one, is much longer than these ones. So remember, these ones are a tenth of a second. If I hold my mouse there for a second, sorry, just on the photo, it'll tell me duration a tenth of a second. This one, which was the big long one, the duration is 2 seconds. So what I want to do is I want to grab a load of these and put them together, as I said, as a thing called nest. So to see where I want to go as far as, and you kind of need to keep in mind when you were making some of the photos 1 or 2 seconds long, they're kind of, for me, my indication of where I will stop before each one that is 1 or 2 seconds long, just right before it, and that will be my nest. So if I'm going to do a transition between 2 groups of photos, I kind of want the first one of each group, if this makes sense, to be a little bit longer to allow the transition to work a bit better. So I am going to just go between the 2 circles and drag this along till I see how as far as I wanted to go, which was this one. Can you see it's much bigger photo is probably 1 or 2 seconds. Yes, it's 2 seconds. So I'm going to go as far as this one here, the one just in front of it. What I'm going to do is make this a little bit smaller. Or sorry, this way. This way to make it a little bit smaller. I can still see the bigger one. So this is the one I want to go before this one. So to select all these, I'm going to put my mouse just the top. I'm going to press my finger down on my touchpad, drag over it. You can see there's like a little box going over it. And this is how I'm selecting it all. So I still have my finger pressed on the touchpad and I'm just dragging along until that one. All right. Now, if you missed 1 or 2, don't forget if you put your finger on your shift key and you can just pick up a few extras. So these are my selected photos and I want to turn these into a nest. So I could do the right click on it and pick nest, or I can come up with here where it says clip and I can come down to nest. I'm going to click on nest here and nested sequence 01. I'm going to say okay. Okay, and that's my first nested sequence. You can see all the photos have joined together as one. One other reason for doing this is I'm just going to play it for 1 second and show you that you can then change the speed duration of the nest. Oh, sorry, I have to go all the way back there. Of the actual nest. I want to make this a little bit smaller or bigger just to see it properly. So I am just going to click here and let's have a quick play of it. You can see my blue line at the bottom is indicating where it is and the pictures then is on the top. So to me, that might be a little bit slow. So maybe I want to bring that duration down a bit and let it stop. Okay, I'm going to hit stop and go all the way back by hitting this key here. So let's see, how would I make this a little bit slower? Maybe you want to make it a little bit faster. So you click on it to select it. And then, I don't know, do you remember from earlier that we click control and then we click left and you come all the way down in this little menu. This little menu, as far as I know, has nest as well. Oh, it does. So we're looking for speed duration. I'm coming on down. Where's my speed duration gone? There. So speed duration. So we used speed duration earlier. So this, the right click will get you, or the hit and control, which kind of is your right click, and your left click will get you to the nest. If you want to nest them, it'll also get you the speed duration, or you can go up to that bit that says clip and do it that way. So speed duration, I'm saying that 14 seconds is a bit long. I can also look at this here, where it says 100%. I could either bring that down by I've clicked into it and I brought I'm just clicking. Oh no, I want to go up, not down. Sorry, it's a bit slow. So I'm going to go up and I can't go up that way. Oh, I can, sorry. Up we go. So you can see it going up. I'm going to go up to about 110 seconds. So 110%, which means this is a little bit faster. I could equally just bring those seconds down. I'll show you both ways. You can figure out which one you prefer to use. Okay, right. And I'm just going to play that again. And it's a little bit faster than last time. Now again, if you felt it needed to be a little bit faster again, you could do it. The problem I would say with this sometimes, and just be aware of it, is when you're playing this over and over and over again to yourself and you're fixing it and you're editing it, you kind of are preempting what should be coming up next and you're thinking, oh my God, it's too slow, it needs to be faster. Slow is better because nobody else has seen it. So it's all new for them. If I would say maybe after you've gotten so far with this and you've been messing with it for a bit, maybe get someone to have a look at it and they can say to you, oh my God, that's too slow or that's too fast, or, you know, because it can be hard to judge when you're working on it so much. I'm going to hit back here again and let's go on to the next one. Oh, sorry, back here. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller and I'm coming on to my next sequence. Okay. Now, just one thing actually that has come up there that's kind of interesting and probably important. Do you see this white gap here? What that is, because I suddenly made that faster, there's a little jump, there's a little problem with the timeline. I'm not going to be too worried about that at the moment. We'll get that fixed up later on. Let's go on and just get all our nesting done first. I'm just going to drag this along and see what happens when we get to that white line, just to show you. Okay, so see there's nothing, and it's just because we've change the speed and the duration of it. It's kind of skipped a little. There's no problem dragging it all back together again. The way I selected earlier, you would do that and you would just drag it in. I'll just show you quickly here to do it. So I'm going to drag this along here because I want it all together. To see, I can still see that white line. I just need to drag it all up to that white line. Okay, so I come just above it with my mouse. I'm dragging all along. You will have to do this maybe sometimes if you change the speed of things. And I'm just clicking and moving it in. And it should move, in theory, it should move in. Come on, move it. There it is, sorry. And it's moving in and it just clicks back into place. All right. So that could happen, like that could happen to your sound, that could happen to your titles, that could happen to any stage. All you do is to select these is you drag over them like they're a box and you can just move them into place. Okay, I am going to make these bigger again so I can see my next nested sequence. So this is the start of it, and you can see quite clearly that it will end here because that's much bigger. This one again must be about a couple of seconds, 3 seconds. This one starts off as 2 seconds, and all the ones in between, they all look more or less the same size. So what do? I click just above it, keep my finger pressed down, and I drag to the one just in front of it. And I either come up here to clip and I say nest, or I right click and say speed duration. So nest, okay. And there's my second one. And so on and so on. So you keep going until you have your groups all nested. I have no idea now. This time I'll end up with about 10, 15 of them. And they're the ones that we will work with. The next video, we'll have a look at doing your transitions between each one. So I would suggest get the nests done, decide after each nest, does the speed and duration need to end in it? Are they too slow? Are they too fast? Practice a little bit with those, play them, and that's it. Next video, we're going to have a look at transitions, and then the video after that will be audio, I'd say. Okay, thank you very much. See you next time.